Welcome to the show. This is Cher Jones at Just Ask Cher Live, and I am, of course, super excited to be broadcasting right now in primetime daytime. Usually I'm primetime nighttime, so usually Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's when I broadcast. But guess what? Tuesday was kind of rough for me. I ended up broadcasting, but not in the way that I wanted to. So in this episode, this is like the replacement episode. This is me still wanting to do what I do and making sure that I do not let tech get me down. So today, on this episode of Just Ask Cher, it's all about crushing your 2020 personal branding goals. But the planning should have already started already. But if it hasn't, that's okay, because it's all about harnessing this fresh start energy of the fall. Is it just me? I know it's not just me, because this is like a rhetorical question. I'm not the only one who feels that the fall, Labor Day, is like the other new year. And sometimes, more importantly, the professional new year, where we kind of like look back at what we've accomplished so far. If we had any New Year's resolutions, are we doing them? Summer's over. Now it's time to get down to business. So in this episode, I'm going to make sure that you have a handle on what's possible with your personal brand, because I want to seed your goal ideas, give you some inspiration, give you what you need. But in the meantime, let me know. I love both my replay viewers and my live viewers, and I want to know what team you're on. Type Team Live in the comments, or Team Replay if you're watching later on. And let me know where you're from, where you at, where you from, because we have definitely a great show ahead. And if you're wondering what I'm going to be talking about today, well, New Year's goals start now, but wait till you see my scroll stopper. This is one of the coolest things that I've seen as far as getting attention at the right organization. So I'm going to show that to you as well. My TapThatApp feature. Anybody who's been sliding in my DMs lately talking about podcasting, talking about they want me on a guest on their podcast when they start their podcast. Well, no more excuses. The app that I'm going to show you today can get you started right now on your podcast, right now, to test it out, get what you need to do. So I'm just going to do a quick check just to make sure y'all are there, y'all can see me, and say hi to whoever's in the audience right now. It is so glad. Bertina, one of my hardcore 9 p.m.ers, is here. Douglas, so great to see you. Yes, the professional new year, Labor Day, is real. And so let's take advantage of that awesome energy. And that's what I want to do. Dr. Terry, you are on my show live during the day. You are also one of my favorites coming on at night as well. So I appreciate that. Bryn, Randall, my super fan, Randall and Calvin, I know they're watching. Wait till you guys see what they've done for me. And I really appreciate that. Turn the master volume down. Thank you, Brandon. Let me figure that out right now. What are you guys thinking of my volume? Is it still too loud, or am I better? Let me know. Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate that. Yes, tech issues definitely suck. And Keenan, great to see you live on the show. And Shaquandra, great to see you. Hermione, great to see you. Dr. Carla, awesome. You guys are just amazing. Thank you for joining me. And I will check back into the comments in just a second. So the first thing that I wanted to do right now is start my timer. So you see, I'm kind of cheating here. So for those of you who've never watched an episode of Just Ask Cher Live, basically I promise to deliver the goods hotter, fresher, and more satisfying in 30 minutes-ish or less. So let's get that timer started right now. Okay, so I want to know where you're from. I see some people, Louisville, Kentucky. I see a lot of different people in there. Let me know, all my team livers, all my replayers too. I love my teams, and I'm super glad that you are joining me. So let me know where you're from in the comments, and I will definitely shout you out. Linda, Team Live, nice to see you. Linda, you're on my list to have a conversation with, just so you know. I'm watching you. Okay, and let's see what else we got going on here. And let's get right into the show, shall we? So my scroll stopper. right now, guys, I would want to introduce you to, let's show you. I want to introduce you to, actually, let me jump back in here for a second. I have a question for you. And I want to know what your goals are. So I've been introducing this as that time to really step up and really tap into what you want to accomplish. But I hope to give you some insight. So throughout this show, I want you to leave your goals in the comments. And you can feel free to wait because I'm going to seed those goals with some incredible ideas. But you know me, I am always back in the comments after. So if I don't address it live on the show, you know I'll be leaving a comment for you because I want to see what your goals are and how you're going to leverage social and your personal brand to help you achieve them. Again, I promise some incredible things that you can start to leverage. But before we do that, I definitely want to get into my scroll stopper right now. And let's do that. So wait till you guys see this one. I am loving it. And here we go. So I'd like to introduce you guys to Derek Gardner. He is now a producer at BuzzFeed. And he did this incredible video that I want to show you just a clip of so that you can get an idea of this post that we're going to break down for you in just a second. So give me 1 second. I want to get to a point. There we go. And I'm going to play it live. Let me know if you guys can hear the volume on this.
Resume. Also, before I got my job at BuzzFeed, I used the same tactic to get interviews and meetings at other big brands like Complex and Ogilvy. But let me pause and just say that this tactic definitely gets and got people's attention, right? But my work still had to be good enough to get the job at BuzzFeed. I had a lot of tests of my work in order to get the job. A good example is I totally flopped my interview.
So basically what he has done here is, and I'm going to jump back onto the screen for you guys in just a second. So basically what he did, and Derek did, and it was so awesome. He created a social advertising campaign to get him in front of some of the main people at BuzzFeed, as well as Complex Magazine and a few other organizations that he wanted to work for. So what he did is he developed a video series or a video, and he basically went into Facebook ads, Instagram ads, LinkedIn, and created a very targeted ad campaign to get in front of people. And I think this is really cool because at the end of the day, what you can do is there are so many different applications to it. So let me just explain a little bit more. So we're going to go back to my screen. Bear with me a second. All right. So it was fantastic because what he did ultimately, and let me make sure you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Want to make sure of that. Okay. And so what he did is in this scroll stopper, he shared his story of success. And that's what we all want to see. We want to see how things worked for them. That's kind of why I show you scroll stoppers, to see how things worked for them. So his video was a basic sit-down video where he talked about how he got his job at BuzzFeed using really interesting strategies. But that doesn't mean that you can't use this for something else. And I'll dive into a few examples of what you can do in just a second. But it was also a story that's relevant to the network he's on. So on LinkedIn, we talk a lot about jobs, personal branding, how we are working together, and how we can create content. And so that's what he's doing here. So he created content, he's stepping up. And let me just take a look to make sure you can hear everything. Oh, bring the volume back. Can you guys hear? Yeah, you can see and hear me now. Thank you guys so much for letting me know. So I appreciate that. So next, I'm going to pump back into the screen to let you guys see something. All right, can you hear me? I hope so. It looks like you can, and I made sure all the volumes are correct. So let's do here. All right. So also what he did as well is he gave some incredible insight into an awesome strategy. And this is really important because what we want to see and what we want to learn from is when people do something awesome, well, how did he do it? This was literally a 10-minute video where there wasn't a lot to it as far as editing is concerned, but as far as the takeaways, I literally watched the whole 10-minute video. It got my attention because he gave me insight to a strategy that worked for him. He was also very honest with the strategy itself. He showed his character. He showed how hard it was and the type of work that he had to do in order to get it. So he was just talking about how the fact that just because he got their attention using a social media ad strategy doesn't mean he'd get the job. He had to show them that he had the chops to actually do the job he was applying for. And then also, this now benefits his employer because they get to see, his network gets to see that he's working at a really cool place, and also that he also gets to, let's move back into the screen. I just want to make sure you guys are hearing me. I'm getting some messages, so I want to make sure. It also shows the type of caliber that they're looking for in an employee. So ultimately, it attracts talent. It shows his ingenious way of getting attention. So there are so many ways that you can use this. So this strategy, if you needed to get your content in front of the right people, you can also develop your own social media strategy as far as an ad campaign to make sure that your content gets in front of the right audience. Let's say you wanted to speak at an event. Let's say you wanted to, get in front of just the right people at another organization. You want to develop a partnership. You can think about how you can use a strategy just like this, where you create a video strategy and then put it out there for people to see. So, but ultimately, this screen stopper was all about him sharing the successes of that and the journey along the way. So I loved it, and it was something that I think that people can use because it was basic, but yet the information was so good. I didn't mind watching all 10 minutes of his video. So I want to remind you guys, if you see something, say something. So definitely, if you see scroll stoppers in whatever network, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Twitter, whether it is Instagram or Facebook, tag me in it. Put hashtag scroll stopper, and I'm looking. I know I got a few in my inbox this week that I'm reviewing for my next show, so that is awesome. Okay, so what do you guys think of that? Would you use an ad campaign or some sort of strategy to get in front of people? And then the other thing is, would you share your behind the scenes secrets as a video? Because that's what people want to know. So I hope that you found that a little bit helpful as far as making sure that you get to take these ideas and make them your own. And I'm just going to jump into the comments right now to see what you guys are saying. The volume, I think, is good now. Pump up the volume, please. I'm hoping that, yeah, the volume on my main mic is low. Let's see. You guys are the best for letting me know this. Okay, and it went way lower. Let's see. Give me a second. I'm assuming you guys are hearing me now, and even better now because I just adjusted it. I don't want to be super loud. It's perfect. The volume was perfect before. Sounds better at first. Okay, so hopefully, let's see. This is so fun. Just figuring out one day I'll have my volume exactly where I want it to be. Okay, let me know. It's getting into the yellow. Okay, this should be good. Hopefully. All right. Okay. Yes. Next thing, I'm going to move on from the scroll stoppers into New Year goals now. Yes, in September, we want to make sure that you do have them. And here are some of the ideas that I want you to be thinking when it comes to marrying your goals with your personal brand, with your social media presence. All of this matters, and it's all about your professional presence. So here are some goals that I want you guys to think about. Increase visibility. So this is incredible if you have a strategy that you need to get in front of your clients. Maybe you'll use a strategy like Derek, or maybe where he basically put an ad campaign to get in front of his clients or in front of people within an organization. It could also be in front of industry influencers. That's another way. But ultimately, it's about what are you doing to increase your visibility so people know your name when you walk in the room. That could just simply mean more activity online, and also building that network to ensure that they can see you. All right, let's see. The next thing that I want to talk about is growing relationships. You could set a goal this year that you want to grow 5 key relationships, 10 key relationships, and think about how are those relationships ultimately going to benefit you. Perhaps it's increasing the sales. Perhaps you have such a long sales cycle that those relationships really matter and they start now. So what can you do so that by the time the holidays comes around, you can slide in their DMs and invite them somewhere? And you have that personal relationship that people are willing to work with you. And that, again, goes way beyond sales. That could be with the right people within an organization or somebody who is a key holder to opportunity, right? So you want to make sure you're doing that. And let's see what else I got here. I'm just making sure, guys, I'm so now paranoid about this. Okay. Making sure you guys can hear me. Oh my gosh, I don't even know anymore. My comments are all over the place. Okay, good. Love it. Don't touch it. Great for now. Thank you, guys. Okay, so I've got everything going on. So yes, growing relationships. And thank you, Bryn. It is a wonderful goal. You're one of the people that I want to grow my relationship with. So expect me in your DMs. Okay, here's another goal that you might want to think about. And again, these goals are not these big, hairy, audacious goals. These are things that are so doable if you start now. It's about having the plan. It's about getting in front of the right people. Build your credibility. So for some of you, a lot of you, to be honest, that means working on your profiles so that when you show up, you show up. When people are looking you up, people know what you bring to the table. They don't care about your resume unless you're looking for a job. But that's not my audience. My audience, well, some of you guys, but not really. My audience is about how you show up for business, how you show up so when you walk into the meeting room, people know exactly how you can help them and why you're that person to work with. It could be building credibility around the content and the things that you know, how you help your clients, and that thought leadership, that expertise, that ability to lead, sometimes creating content that shows you doing things that you want to do more of. Maybe leading a team, maybe leading a project, maybe designing something incredibly new, or coming up with a system that works better than what the current system is in place. You can create content around that to showcase what you know. Also, it could be about when you're out there doing things, more people need to know. Your mother doesn't know what you're doing. Your boss probably doesn't know everything that you do. So creating content that showcases you in action is another way that you can think about this. Okay. Creating collaboration. This is especially for you entrepreneurs out there. There are wonderful opportunities for you to collaborate and create. Maybe it's with a podcast. Maybe it's with an event that you're going to bring on multiple people that you've met in your network, and you create an event together. So an in-person collaboration. Maybe it's jumping onto each other's social as far as creating content. If they have a blog, guest posting on their blog, or doing a swap like Instagram takeovers, for example. But ultimately, this goes to building relationship and then creating the opportunities to collaborate. And there are so many people, even right now, please network within the comments. There are people right here that you can start building those relationships to collaborate. Like, you don't want to just step up on the scene, meet somebody, be like, hey, want to collaborate? No, it takes the relationship. But again, these are goals. So let's say you have a Q1 goal to start creating content with somebody. Start the relationship now. So there, and then that's not just even for entrepreneurs. What if there's something internally within your organization that you feel that you can create content for? Because let me tell you, your organizations are hungry for internal content as well. You can work with somebody and create something, whether it's a lunch and learn, whether it's online content where you're giving back and also increasing your visibility. See how these all work together for building an incredible brand for business? And that's what I want to make sure that you have these thoughts, ideas, things that you can do to really create opportunity for yourself. Close more deals. So all my sales warriors out there, if closing more deals is a thing, probably every single one of the things that I have mentioned, increasing your visibility, growing your relationships, building your credibility, collaborating with referral partners, that is all, these all should be on your goal list, but ultimately closing more deals. And that may mean developing those relationships further, taking them offline, finding, prospecting, spending time on LinkedIn and other social where you can really find the right people that you should be having conversations with, and then moving them along your sales cycle. So what else do I have? Improving performance. This is an interesting thing. So you can look at, well, what are the things that I do every day in my job? How can I socialize them? So one of the awesome things that you can do is you can make sure that, let's say, for example, building those relationships, sometimes you'll pick up the phone, sometimes you'll slide into their DMs and send them a quick voice note, right? Sometimes it's faster to get people through social when you've developed those relationships. Sometimes it's about, where can I socialize so I can get in front of that audience in a way, especially if you have a credible profile that reminds people why you're even talking to them in the first place. So it's about integrating, as opposed to having social media being on its own as a silo. Looking at where my space here, as a silo, it's like infusing that into how you do work and making sure you get those social touches in. All of a sudden you will start seeing incredible opportunities. And finally, this is a really interesting one that we don't talk about a lot. If you've ever done a 360 profile, or you're getting feedback, or you know personally there are things that you need to improve about your personal brand, why not create content about it? Because if everybody else knows that you always show up late, if that's your thing that you need to work on, what's really interesting is how you can leverage your personal brand to do that. You can start sharing the resources that you are using to improve the behavior. You can start talking about it so that people, they're already talking about you anyways. If they're already saying, yo, Cher's always late for meetings, I'm not. But if that's that thing that I need to improve, then I can start sharing more books that I'm reading, creating content about the things that I'm trying to improve about myself over this year, perhaps creating a challenge with people so that they can join in on you. And what you're doing now is you're changing the conversation by showcasing your effort through content. What do you guys think about these ideas? What are you most excited about? I want to see those in the comments below, because this is something that I believe that when we put our minds to it, when we think about the things that we want to change, and then actually have an action plan. And it could be just one of these. You don't have to do this. And yes, thank you for the thumbs up. Let me know if with the clapping, this is what I want to know. With the clapping button, if you plan to take a look at your goals over the next 3 days, because you got to take action. I would love for you even to write down one goal right now. I'm listening to this book by Mel Robbins called Take Control of Your Life. And one of the things she harps on, and she's harped on it in all of her books, is if you are committing to action, you need to take at least one step right now. So you know what one step I want you to take? Let me know in the comments. What are you thinking? Even if you're not 100% committed to it, what's one goal that's kind of like, oh, that's caught my attention. I need to think about that more. Or if you have fully articulated, if you can fully articulate what you want to accomplish, I would love to see that in the in the comments. And so I'm going to take a look right now. Yes, thank you, Nick. Keep going. He's proud of me. I love it. Thank you. Let's see. Loving these ideas. I'm going to go back in just to see. I have to refresh my screen. It's not as easy as you think, guys. This one woman show, I'm telling you. Okay, so yes, they are actionable. And thank you, Susanna, for sharing this with others. I really appreciate that. I love, so Keenan is all about building more collaborations. And here's a tip on building collaborations. One of the things that you can do is look for people who are right around your level. Right? Let's say in YouTube, for example, when you're doing collabs, as the cool kids call it, I'm not one of them, collaborations. If you are doing a collaboration, what they do is they suggest that you say, okay, look at, well, this person has a similar subscriber account to you. And that's someone who's in the same sort of level. It's interesting, especially when you're approaching people on social. They look at that, and it's a great way to get in and then continuing to level up. So that's something. And Karen says hello from London. Latrice says produce more content for my target audience. I hear you, sister. That is exactly what I need to do and what I need to continue to do. And that's why I made sure that I didn't let this show go until next week. I need to stay consistent with that. So that's something that I wanted to do, grow relationships and create collaboration. So that's what Dr. Carla is saying. And I totally loving this. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, exactly, Susanna. So that for those of you who are not familiar with Mel Robbins, you really should get familiar with her. And it's basically what she uses as a strategy where it's like, if you're procrastinating, just count backwards and go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And speaking of which, I'm going to hop on to my next topic. OMG, guys. I am so loving this because I am having so many people slide in my DMs talking about podcasting, talking about what they want to do with their podcast, but they have no podcast yet. Going back to if content creation is your goal, right? So in this segment, we're talking about Tap That App, baby. 2 P's, Tap That App. And I am excited for what I want to share with you guys. So let's see if I can make this pretty. Give me 1 second. Let me find that screen again. Hopefully all is well. Y'all hear everything. I'm going to move it over and let's go. All right. So I'm here to talk to you guys about Anchor FM. Has anybody used Anchor FM before? Anyone? Anchor FM is the most easiest way in life. Yes, I know I'm being a little extra right now, but it's the most easiest way to create a podcast. I'm literally talking like hold the button down, record, and you're good to go. So let me show you my screen. And you can do it. What's really cool, and I'm hoping this will work. What's really cool is you can record on your desktop. You can record. It was originally an app only when it first came out, when I first played with it a while ago. But since so many people are sliding up talking about, oh, my podcast, and there's no podcast, I figured this would be a great app to share. So who is thinking about podcasting? Let me know. Just put podcast in the comments. Podcasts. That's what I want to know. Who's thinking about podcasting? Let me know, because you have no excuse right now. None whatsoever. You can produce such a professional sounding podcast to start. You'll blow your mind. So let me show you guys what I got here. All right. So this is Anchor FM. So basically what it allows you to do is it allows you to record your voice, and then you record it. And then let's go back into my library, and then you can add music. So what you do, so for example, here's a voice recording that I did. Hopefully you guys can hear it. We'll see. Hey, welcome to Just Ask Cher, the podcast. So I have that, right? And then if I wanted to add music to it, right? We go right here. They've got all these music options. So I've done that already for the sake of time. So here's an example of what it sounds like with music. Hey, welcome to Just Ask Cher, the podcast. Tell me you're not excited about that. Tell me you didn't think that was dope. I am so excited. I think it is amazing. And I want to know, are you going to use it? Are you going to use Anchor? It is one of the coolest, and I mean coolest, options out there for creating the easiest way to create a podcast. And then all you have to do is continue to create tips or clips and then add them in there. You can upload them, and then all of a sudden you can get that create the podcast button going, and all of a sudden you have a podcast, and it helps you distribute it where you want it to go, and it's free. So let me know, are there podcast people? Look, I see podcasts. Bonnie is going on the podcast. Susanna is from Chicago. Thank you, Susanna. Yes, you can add your own music. You can add in your own files. So for example, I could take the file from the audio file from this show, drop it in, edit it up, add in music and transitions. They even have transitions. So you can cleanly go from one segment to another on your podcast. It is so good. It's so good. And this is so easy. And I'm seeing everybody getting ideas. I love it. I'm so glad you guys are liking this. So that's my Tap That App for the week. So glad that you guys are about that podcast life. All right. The next thing that I want to do is, let's see here. I want to, not that one. There we go. I'm figuring this out. I want to just shout out a few people. So the first person that I want to shout out is Calvin and Randall Constant. They have been promoting my show like nobody's business. I'll quickly show you guys. I can't go into the video because I'm running out of time. But if you don't know them, they're just like the sweetest people in the world. And what I want to show you is, here we go. So Randall created this for me. Half an hour, 45 minutes before my show, half an hour, just letting you guys know that my show is happening 12 noon in Toronto. Randall and Calvin, so Calvin's the one in the red, Randall's the one in the blue, they created this video for me last night. And I was so touched by it and so happy just to have the support of people I know. And in such an outward way. So thank you, Randall. Thank you, Calvin, for being my super fans of the week. I really appreciate that. I have so many people, quite frankly, who support me in many different ways. And I appreciate all of you who share my broadcast with your network. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that as well. Also, just wanted to let you guys know of an event happening in Toronto. It is it's basically a tech event for Black professionals who want to really up their game, and they have a ton of speakers. I'm going to be on a panel talking about developing your corporate, developing yourself as a corporate influencer, and how different organizations can actually leverage that to attract more talent, to attract as individuals can attract more opportunities. And then, of course, if you guys are in Toronto, there is an event that I had, and it's gone now. But, I know where I have it. Right here, Business and Bourbon, live in Toronto. So Ronell, who's also on my network, is making his way to Toronto. And it is, it's going to be an awesome event. So connect with Ronell. So it's myself, Katya, Trudy, and Kathy. All the people I'll link to this event later, but it's something you definitely want to know. Look at that. My time's up. How rude. But I am so glad to have you guys watching. And if you want to get tickets, Business and Bourbon Live, check it out. businessandbourbon.live. You can check it out there. my time is up. And so I'm going to, with that, let you know that I really appreciate you hanging out with me today, this half an hour prime time. And new show next week at the normal Bat channel, which is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but catch the replay whenever you want. I really do appreciate all of you guys for joining me. And of course, if you are not connected to me on the other networks, like on Twitter or like on Instagram, I am at It's Cher Jones, so you can find me there. And I really would appreciate you connecting because I follow back. And of course, on my YouTube channel, I have tons of resources for you guys. So if you haven't found me yet, just search Cher Jones or just search the hashtag #JustAskSher and you will find me on YouTube. And I look forward to connecting with you guys. And thank you so much for watching, and see you on Tuesday.